Back in Baltimore, Maryland, at the Baltimore Arena, the CAA 2014 Men's Basketball Championships. It's quarterfinal Saturday. The 5th seed Northeastern, your starting lineup. Keep your eye on David Walker, the sophomore, second in the conference in steals this season. Scott Etherton was your defensive player of the year at Fulton. The Huskies, coached by Bill Cohen, 8th season, 121 and 132. He's 80-62 in conference. The 4th seed, the Drexel Dragons, and they're led by their experienced backcourt of Chris FOUCH and Franz Massenet. Also keep your eye on senior forward Darte Ruffin. He leads the Dragons with nearly 8 rebounds a game. Bruiser Flint, the head coach, 13th season at Drexel, the longest tenured coach in the conference and the winningest coach in Drexel history. Hey! Blaine Taylor, and Blaine, when you look at this matchup, two very evenly matched teams, what are your keys to get an advantage this afternoon?
Well, the Huskies are a little younger, and the guys from Philly are really physical, so they're going to have to bang and bump and beat them to balls, and they're going to have to survive the stretch run. They're good enough to get in a close game. They got to be good enough to finish the job. Bruiser's boys are back. They, live to his nickname a little bit, play some defense and climb the glass and compete with you physically, and they've played much better lately. They absorbed the loss of Damian Lee. But the senior guards have got to take over for Drexel for them to survive and advance. They've got the veteran backcourt. They've been in this tournament before, much more than Northeastern. They're going to have to bring home the bacon.
Referees today, Tim Comer, Dennis Alucco, and Andrew Murata. And we are off here in Baltimore. This quarterfinal matchup, the 4th seed, the Drexel Dragons, and the 5th seed, the Northeastern Huskies. The Huskies in the all-black uniforms, Drexel in the all-white.
All 5 kids have touched the ball. A little bit of throwaway motion, get everybody comfortable, kind of travel, but tournament time, kind of getting everybody in a little bit of a touch-the-ball mode, kind of take a minute. You're going to see that be kind of the pace of this game, a contrast to the last game.
Extra steps for Reggie Spencer, bringing the ball across the timeline. Major Kennedy talked about the guard play. The Drexel Dragons. Jump shot knocked down by Massenet. First team All-CAA, and he gets the Dragons scoring started this afternoon.
Well, you notice the first time FOUCH came off, they were all over it. And the second down screen, Franz come off and all of a sudden was ready to fire. I think an interesting guy out here is Kennedy. He is a little bit of do-everything. He started 13 of the last 14 games and really gives them stability in their lineups.
Walker drives, baseline, kisses it off the glass, and gets it to fall as we're tied at 2.
Very deceptive player, very accomplished, more athletic than you might see, especially with some of the steals and finishes that he has around the basket.
Man-to-man for the Huskies. Driving and kicks out to Kennedy, and he knocks it down. Major Kennedy, the freshman, hits the jumper.
Real nice rhythm on offense for Drexel. They did exactly what they wanted. They got the plays ran. The right shooters got the ball in rhythm. Northeastern's going to have to upset. I think you'll see Northeastern play some zone before this thing's over. And you might see a few surprises out of Drexel.
Etherton gets it on the give and go, and he hits his first shot of the afternoon.
So much for defense.
Not much early going. We're tied at 4, 2 minutes into this ball game.
I would say both coaches start with defense, but the reason they're in the middle of the standings is they haven't played to their standards. So they're a little streaky in that regard.
Rodney Williams missed the left. Kennedy stripping Walker. Goes in. Off glass and misses. Off the Huskies. It'll stay Drexel basketball.
His primary job is not to score, but he almost started with 4 of the first 6 points here. So it's too bad he didn't get that one down for his own liking, because he can make a difference. Sometimes you have these guys that kind of come off the pace a little bit and have games, and he started out that way.
Kennedy averaging just over 2 a game. His career high is 8. Had that earlier this year against Tennessee State.
Well, both these teams struggle to score bunches, and that's why you have a little more lower scoring game. The first time they played was a higher scoring game, but you got to factor in they played 10 extra minutes with the double overtime.
Very senior team, very experienced team in Drexel. Chris FOUCH He's fouled on the shot. Ruffin is a senior, Massaret a senior, and FOUCH 6 year now, grad student for Drexel. This senior class has won 79 games through their career. They were picked as the number 2 team preseason, and of course been hit with injuries. Both Damian Lee and Kasemi Abif out for the year.
Yeah, they've lost some critical guys. I think it speaks volumes that they've done as well as they've done, and they've played so well at times. They haven't been as consistent, but when you're missing some pieces, that'll happen. I think you do speak to an experienced backcourt that'll keep you together. And then Darte, Ruffin, FOUCH, some of these guys have been around for a long time, so you know, there's a certain stability there.
FOUCH misses both. He's their best free throw shooter at 84%.
That's an anomaly. I mean, he's going to make about 8 or 9 out of 10 most nights. I think you can strike that one up to a little bit of tournament jitters. New arena, new setting, one and done, you know, environment.
Williams misses the jumper, rebounded by Reggie Spencer. His shot blocked from behind.
Spencer's a real warrior. He'll get in there and mix it up. That's what they need.
Massaret knocks down the three-pointer.
As I said earlier, if you watch the game, you're going to see take care of the ball, you're going to see inner offense, you're going to see defense, you're going to see jump shots, you're going to see threes. I really think his upside beyond college is as good as anybody in the league.
Spencer tracks down the loose ball, back to Walker.
A little late clock action here.
Shot clock inside 15. Etherton up top, nowhere to go. Shot clock at 8. Long shot by Pollard, no good.
That defensive possession is what Bruiser wants. They really worked off some on-ball screens well.
Massaret takes it right to the big guy Etherton and kisses it off the glass with the left hand. It's 9-4 Drexel.
It's always surprised me that guys don't figure out he's left-handed.
Massaret already with 7 of the 9 points for Drexel here in the early going.
Well, I think you look at him watch the first game. You know, kids watch. And he sees Usher. He sees Upshaw. He sees Treat. And you kind of start gaining confidence. Well, I'm going to go do that. That's what he's done.
Flores and Stahl both check in for Northeastern. A long jumper, back iron by Pollard, but rebounded by Stahl.
Stahl gives them steady minutes off the bench. They've got a combination with foul trouble with Etherton, which has been a problem. Then Spencer is really a warrior, but you know, Stahl gives them kind of that third ingredient in the post play.
Stahl had a double-double against Drexel, 11 points, 10 rebounds earlier this year.
You know, they have those officials wear stripes so you don't throw them the ball, but they're always open.
Massaret has the Dragons.
More.org.
A good crowd on hand. The Drexel students making that trip down I-95 for Philadelphia. Bruiser Flint saying earlier in the week that he was hoping that Drexel would show up in a big way here in Baltimore.
I think what happens is the crowd grows day by day, and you start, and all of a sudden you get a little momentum, and the crowd gains that momentum too. I think you look at statistically, Brent, the 3 turnovers, no turnovers. I mean, they're shooting them almost 70% from the floor, Drexel is. So they're taking care of the ball, but they're also holding them to 28%. So, you know, they're playing the defense we talked about. They're turning them over, and they're making shots. And that's why you've got a pretty good lead right now.
It's a 7-0 run for Drexel. Look at the foul. Jump shot.
One of the things I noticed is about half of Northeastern shots have been from 3. They've shot 3 out of their 7 shots. They having a hard time getting to the basket, getting shots off at point blank or mid-range.
Bruiser Flint said it was frustrating earlier this year with all the injuries. They were in a lot of games. Matter of fact, 4 games they were winning with 6 seconds to go and ended up losing those games. They want to close out ball games. And injuries were an issue earlier this year. Demetrius Pollard with a take and delivers. It's 11-6.
First time they've got to the interior with a clean look. And, one time Etherton got a slip, but it wasn't actually a move. And they've got to get more of that to balance things out. They can't live and die on the 3 against the Drexel bunch.
Good look inside, but it's Etherton who is there with a block. And it's 54 blocks on the season for the big fella, and in transition, Walker knocks down the jumper.
Back at it. How many times does a block shot or a turnover lead to something at the other end? Etherton, defensive player of the year in the league, and you saw why. He's very kind of nondescript. He's got such long arms and a long body. I mean, I'm sure when he was younger, he could probably tread water in a garden hose, a little skinny. But now, you know, he was almost flat-footed and blocked that shot up around the rim.
Great defensive season for Etherton. Second team All-CAA this year, averaging 15.5 points, 10 rebounds a game. The big fella is a defensive stopper in the middle.
You know, you really watch him, and he's very fundamental, very methodical, you know, not a lot of wasted motion. And he's really done a nice job of developing himself. And as I joke about being a little bit slender, you know, as he's gone along, he's gotten thicker, been able to take a little bit more of a bang in the physical nature of the game more. And that's why one of the keys before the game is they're going to need to be able to block some shots, get some rebounds. Right now they're out rebounding Drexel, and that's one of the reasons that they're still, you know, just a couple buckets away from them.
Tavon Allen checks in for Drexel. Major Kennedy to the bench. Rodney Williams.
But you look at some younger players, you know, Rodney Williams has really come along the second half of the season, but Trayvon Allen was not healthy. And, you know, he kind of reminds me of that bumper sticker that stuff happens, you know. I mean, when he comes in, he's Action Jackson. There's stuff going on when Trayvon hits the court. And typically, you'll start to see him get some looks, some drives, some plays made.
Off the lane violation, and Williams gets a second shot at it. Knocks down both. The freshman from Richmond, Virginia, with a pair of free throws. A 13-8 Drexel.
Draw a kick, but they drew a kick to the guys that aren't going to shoot. They got to do it to the right guys.
Walker with the ball on the drive. Nice feed to Etherton. He can't finish. Drexel comes up with it. Bassinet, nice crossover.
Drexel's always been really good with their hands. They knock those balls loose.
Well, he misses it. He tries to track it down. Ball's loose. Body's on the floor. And we've got a jump ball situation.
Popcorn machine down there going for the last kernel. Boy, they're going after that one. You can't leave Fouch open like that very often. He'll make you pay. They got fortunate he missed. But you see how handsy Drexel can be on a loose ball, getting on the floor, and at the other end getting a piece of Etherton shot.
These two teams so close during the regular season. 54-52. Just a couple of weeks ago, that was Northeastern who won the last matchup, and Drexel won earlier this year in double overtime at 93-88.
Well, the 56-54 is probably more representative of what's going to happen here today. Might be a little more than that. Who knows? The way Drexel's playing right now, they're going to maybe score a few more points. Remember the ball when you leave.
Miss on the drive. Here comes Drexel on the break. The pull-up jumper is no good by Allen.
Those viewers should watch Trayvon. He does things right-handed, left-handed, right-handed, left-handed. It's hard to figure out whether he's right or left-handed. Shot that jump shot left-handed, but dribbles and passes left-handed. So it's just really interesting.
Etherton on its dribble. Knocks it down and count the foul.
I think Darte Ruffin had a habit, tried to take a charge, and a few years back before the change to the arc, that might have been a charge, but I just don't think his feet got out. I think we'll see that the highlight here, if you look at where his feet are, he's still got his heels out in that arc area, and I don't think he was quite set. So anyway, the officials, in this day and age, you see them call the charge block, and you see them looking at the floor, not at the play many times. They're trying to gauge how deep the defender is.
The redshirt junior out of Hershey, Pennsylvania, with a three-point play. And 5 points now for Etherton, and he'll take a seat on the bench.
Well, the key thing there is he got out of the game. I don't believe he has a foul. And Scott has had so much foul trouble that's affected the flow of their substitutions and their game plan. They really need him on the glass, on the defensive end, and, of course, scoring the ball.
Bill Cohen's Huskies have climbed and clawed right back into this ball game, and that is a backcourt violation. It goes over to Northeastern. It's 13-11 Drexel with 12-14 here in the first half.
This Saturday and next Saturday, there may be more basketball played in the United States with all these tournaments coming up, the end of regular seasons and tournaments next weekend. So there's a lot of officials blowing whistles around the country right now.
It was Dragons' first turnover. They're third nationally in turnovers per game, just 8.5. They really take care of the basketball.
Well, you look at all the stats, and we have some graphics we'll show you later, but I guess we showed some of them earlier. Of all the stats that are so similar, but the two things that really stick out with Drexel is they're really good free throw shooting, although they haven't done it so far, and they really take care of the ball. Now, in a close game late, not turning it over, getting shots, and getting to the free throw line and making them could really make a difference.
Well, a lot of experience with that Drexel backcourt certainly helps. You talk about protecting the basketball.
They knew what they were doing 10 seconds before it happened there.
Break in the action. Drexel jumped out to the early lead, and Northeastern has battled.
The left-hand addition to the highlights you saw. So, a real nice start for him, and it was a big reason why they're slightly ahead. But you're seeing the stat sheet kind of tighten up, just like the scoreboard, and that the shooting percentages are starting to level out a little bit. Northeastern had two or three good possessions. They haven't hit a three yet. I think they're going to have to get their overall field goal percentage up a little bit, and that's with some good shots. And then also they're going to probably have to knock some shots from out before it's over. Against Drexel, you got to do that. Now, you're seeing some young players, Boz, now in the game. And, some of these younger players, with Drexel's emergence later in the year and some games playing very well, their experience, FOUCH, Massanet, Ruffin, but then these other guys are developing, and they're not freshmen, they're not sophomores, they're at the end of the season now.
58% free throw shooter. Ball with the second one. He missed both. Etherton comes down with the rebound.
You can see he's put a lot of work in on it, but you can see that, it's a challenge for him. A little bit of throwaway action. Here comes Etherton to the block. Scorer up top. And he shoots that
floater and knocks it down.
Walker shoots that floater really nice. So many kids don't have that shot when they come to college, and they have to develop it because there's so many shot blockers in point-blank range.
Huskies on a 9-2 run. Ruffin slap from behind. Reggie Spencer there.
Well, Trayvon had a few dribbles and a little bit of contact, and a flop took out a camera guy, but no whistle. And we got a tie game.
Ba heads to the bench. 13-13. 10:52 here left in the first half.
Seems like no matter what these guys do, they're close on the scoreboard. Here comes Etherton on a counter. Didn't accept the screen, got the counter, and got a nice wide open go at a young player. And he really kind of baited that foul out of him. He just kind of held on long enough to where Rodney fouled him.
Rodney Williams whistled with a foul.
And he came down. There's a saying that you have in coaching, don't break the glass. So watch his right hand here. Don't break the glass. If he'd have just kept his hand straight up, I don't think Etherton scores. But when he brought his hand down through the imaginary glass, he came down on his arm, and all of a sudden, foul, free throw.
Etherton, 65% from the line this year. Defensive player of the year in the conference. Misses the second.
Well, Benjamin being the MVP, Etherton and Benjamin, number 1 and 2, I believe, in the country in double-doubles. And that's really significant. A lot of times, I've said this before, guys this and this in this league, we're talking about the whole country. These guys are, leading rebounder in the country is Benjamin, the MVP. And the second in double-doubles is the guy you just saw get the rebound, Etherton.
Pulls down another in 18 double-doubles this season. As mentioned, second most in the country, and he also has a little bit of range. Etherton knocks down the triple.
No insecurity in him. He likes us to talk about him. It seems to make him comfortable for the next play.
9 points now for the redshirt junior transfer out of St. Francis.
Well, we said that they were going to have to make a shot from out, but I didn't know it was going to be the post player that did it. Nice job of not fouling there. And his hands are like flypaper. I mean, he gets his hands on the ball. And look out.
That was his 5th rebound up ahead, and an easy bucket for Reggie Spencer. And we've got a timeout. Drexel.
What a shift in fortunes. In the
Bruiser Flint wants a TO.
Symptomatic of Drexel's season, and I know I'm talking to Bruiser, it's probably crazy, is they can look so good like they did at the start of the game. They can play a game and win, and you can think, wow, these guys are really arrived. Then the next game they stumble, just like they just stumbled in this last sequence of plays, and all of a sudden Northeastern looks like the better team at the moment.
Last time these two teams played, It was Northeastern who scored the final 7 points of that game to beat Drexel by 2.
Exactly.
That was in the last minute of that ball game.
They were up, like you say, 7, and they thought the hay was, in the barn. And all of a sudden, no, that ain't going to happen. They missed some free throws. They turned it over, and all of a sudden lost the ball game. Now that was on the road. The interesting thing about tournament time is the neutral court. And so, win at home, win at home. Now what's going to happen on neutral? Atherton isolated a little bit.
Pump fake by Atherton, but then loses the ball to dribble, and he's still down. Slow to get up. He's in the key, underneath the basket.
Well, when that happens, I never know what is hurt more, their pride or their body. And in this case, I think he did have, bumped his knee or something. He's not...
Take another look at it.
Let's take another look at it here. He comes in and just kind of gets crumpled in there. He just kind of gets potato chip dipped in there. And, all of a sudden, tall guys going down in traffic have a little harder time. And he might have caught a finger in the eye.
He reached for his face there, and it may have been, as you mentioned, a finger to the eye. And that's what they're going to look at now, the trainer over on the Northeastern bench.
Yeah, get the old 2020 trainer over there. We'll get those eyes straightened out.
So Atherton checks out. Drexel 0 for their last 8. Starters in this game 5 for 7. And they took the 11-4 lead, but missed the last 8 shots. Bassinet, jumper. They have missed 9 straight now.
We've really gone cold. That whole run, chances to score, but I don't think their shot selection was quite as good. And I think the shots that Northeastern's gotten has been better shots, and they've got to the free throw line. And this is the last 8, 9 trips, been 4th, 5th time they've got to the line. There's key guys that can't get in foul trouble, and you're going to see this play right here. A good save by TJ Williams, and all of a sudden the ball, and it is a foul. Darte comes in and barges him and displaces him. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a guy like Ruffin is so valuable to Drexel. And his 2 fouls have both been on protecting the basket. And what you see late in games, you saw it last night in the UNC Wilmington game, the post players got in so much foul trouble late, they couldn't protect the basket the way they wanted to.
The senior Darte Ruffin, 2 personal fouls, now checks out. Goran Pantovic comes in, the senior out of Serbia.
He gets some minutes. At this point, you got to get some minutes out of Rodney Williams. You're going to have some other guys have to step up. Trayvon has yet to really have an impact on the game, but there's a long 6'7", 6'8" guy.
Long shooting drought now for Drexel. It's been 7 minutes without a field goal.
One of the things you'll see is FOUCH and Massanet, if they don't get in foul trouble, they will play real heavy minutes. They're in the league leaders in minutes played. The Blues are very comfortable with their conditioning and their ability to play all night long.
Massanet after FOUCH, in and out.
You see those fly pamper hands on Atherton. That ball came out. Those 4 guys could have grabbed it. When his mitts get on it, that is over. He's like a good shortstop on a double play. He just snatches that thing.
Atherton with 7 rebounds now. Drives. Nice feed by Atherton.
They're really isolating Atherton. He's not a low-post power player, and they're isolating him away from the basket.
And a timeout on the court. Northeastern opening up a 7-point lead. It's 2013 in Baltimore. Atherton 3 for 4, 9 points, 7 rebounds, 18 double-doubles this season. He nearly, coach, has a double-double here in the first half.
Unbelievable. I mean, he just changed this thing so fast in the blink of an eye. All of a sudden, bang, 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 there they are. But the thing I'm watching is his foul count. Right now, I don't believe he has any fouls. And, if they keep that up, Bill will be able to rotate their team the way he wants, and Scott will be a steady option to them all night, all afternoon long.
A clean sheet so far for Atherton, and just 3 team fouls for Northeastern so far. And that turnover will go over to Drexel.
One of the things I've noticed doing Northeastern before is they can play without Atherton. They just can't do it very long and very often. And so he's so important to him for a team that has young players and is challenged scoring the ball. And so you're seeing them play a whale of a game. Now, Drexel is challenged scoring the ball, too. And so if it's not Massanet, then they have to kind of manufacture stuff, because FOUCH scores on jump shots, gets to the free throw line, but he doesn't score the variety of ways that maybe an Usher or a Sadler might, or a 3.
Playing a little bit of a weave out front, and Massanet shoots the three, no good. And Tovic comes down with the offensive rebound to Allen, slicing and knocks it down. And finally, Drexel gets a basket to fall. It is 20-15, Northeastern with a lead.
You notice how he dribbled in looking like he was left-handed, and then he shot it right-handed? He's really an ambidextrous kind of hard kid to figure.
First field goal for Northeastern in 8 minutes and 40 seconds.
Drexel. That's a long time to go without scoring. And, you know, to only be down 5, it indicates they played good early, indicates it's barely close to the best game. So if you can weather an 8, almost 9-minute scoring drought and still be in the game a bucket or two, you're in pretty good shape.
Demetrius Pollard checks in. T.J. Williams to the bench for the Huskies.
Now, this game doesn't look like it's going to get to the 30 by the halftime. And so you're probably looking at a game that's probably going to be high 50s, 60s. And that's probably representative of what these guys give up per game.
Talked about at the top of this game. Both teams playing good defense. They're second and third in the conference as far as defensive points this year, giving up just about 66, 67 points a game.
Part of that, Brent, is pace. You'll see them try to run actions. They don't run into the front court, make one pass, and shoot it very rarely. They fast break, try to get something. But, you know, when the pace is like this, and then you have, you know, a shot blocker like Etherton, I think, you know, there's some other guys. Rodney Williams has 4 blocks. I mean, you're seeing the half court, but you're also seeing a difficulty scoring when you do execute. They've kind of, you know, punched at each other pretty good. And so, you know, you can see all the kids have had to rotate. All the kids have made a play. And this last 5 or 6 minutes, you're going to see Drexel come back to life, maybe widen or catch back up. And then there's the opportunity for Northeastern to maybe widen this thing out. So, you know, after they've got 14, 15 minutes, you know, under their belt, now what's going to happen is they go into the locker room. You know, the coaches always preach the last 5 minutes of the half.
Came out of Allen on the jump shot, and that is an air ball. Rebounded by Etherton. Walker pulls it up. Back inside. Stahl working the block, and up and under, and count it.
Well, I tell you what, that was a nice move under the circumstances. He's got a guy that's got 4 blocks in the game, and all of a sudden he gets it down there. And as we look at the replay, the smartest thing he did was he didn't look to score right away, and he just kind of had a chance to work him one-on-one without a double, knowing that he was probably going to have to get under him because he wasn't going to get up above him.
Second foul on Rodney Williams. Stahl, 58% free throw shooter, knocks that one down for the three-point play.
I think you'll see, this is my guess, that you'll see Darte Ruffin again before the half. And now they're down 8. He's got 2. Now Williams with 2. I think that there's going to come a point where Bruiser's going to have to go back and try to not get too far behind, because 8 points in this game is farther behind than in some games.
This Fouch, heavy with that shot. 1 for 5 now in the afternoon for Chris Fouch.
Remember the old days when you used to play against Wilmington when Jerry Wainwright, Brad Brownell were there. You'd get behind 8 and you thought you were behind 20. Sometimes you get in these games that are a little grinding closer to the vest, and the margin seems a lot bigger than it is.
Rodney Williams heads to the bench with 3 fouls, the freshman. 4 blocks so far, really a factor defensively so far in this game. They'll have to take a seat for the rest of the half.
Well, that's pretty big. Now, I don't know if he doesn't trust Darte, and I don't want to question him. He knows his guys. But, you know, he left him out there with 2, and he got the 3rd. And now all of a sudden, you know, he's got problems. I was sitting here talking about Etherton avoiding foul trouble. But if Etherton has the other team in foul trouble in the paint, now look out. It's really an advantage.
That is his second, and the team's 6th.
Demetrius Pollard, his second foul. Only 6 fouls still out of the bonus.
Kind of a lot of looking around on the part of Drexel, kind of like who's in the game and, you know, what are we doing and what's going on. There's a little bit of disorientation to him right now, because if you look out there and you were to ask, you know, Massanet, the other 3 guys that would be out there, this probably wouldn't be the combination that he's practiced with, you know, all week. So it's a little bit of a different groove they got to find.
Drexel just won for their last 14. They started out on fire. They had 5 of the first 7 shots, but they have gone cold here.
That's a
real last 10 minutes.
Real good call. I'm sure that we'll probably get a look at it here at some point. But here's the replay. You know, he steps up clearly centered on the offense, clearly above the arc. Just a no-brainer call. But, you know, sometimes, you know, those calls go against you. And a really nice ball by Tim Comer.
Freddie Wilson caught with that charge. The junior transfer out of Seton Hall.
And here's what bugs you if you're Drexel. They're just so patient to kind of run that throwaway motion, draw a kick, wide open 3. There's 10 minutes, 12 seconds on the clock.
But I guess Flores knocks it down.
Flores, you know, that's what drives you kind of crazy is when they get a lead, you know, and they do this to each other. They get a lead and they kind of play with you. They kind of bait you with their offense, not just their defense.
Massadet all the way to the rim and gets it to fall.
They need more of that. They need more of that. Well, what both teams will do is in transition, if there's an opening, they'll go. If not, they'll pull it back out.
Northeastern with a 9-point lead, a 22-6 run.
In the 30% range, and we said before the game how similar statistically they were, and all of a sudden something's got to give a little bit when the guys are battling, banging, and all that kind of stuff. You know, that rebound margin is unbelievable. No second shots, getting second shots.
Northeastern had a +10 rebound margin in their win over Drexel earlier this year, so certainly rebounding, cleaning the glass, a big part of Northeastern's success. 28-17, 11-point lead right now for the Huskies.
Well, Benega Flores has come in and given them a nice little lift for 5 points. That's what happens when things are going good. You got somebody that you really weren't counting on doing a whole bunch,
Massadet misses.
Now, Reggie's dug in pretty deep, and Darte Ruffin, watch that action down there because he's got 2, and they've got Etherton out, and so they don't have their primary post presence in, but he's at the scorer's table right now, just looked over, and so they see Darte back in. They're going back at him.
Great feed to David Walker, who throws it down.
You and I touched on this earlier in the show. You know, on the all-defensive team, he is very deceptive defensively. There you see the steal, and look out.
Breakaway goes one-handed and throws it down with 2, and the Northeastern bench is erupted. Northeastern, their biggest lead of the game, it's 32-17.
Well, he displayed so much.
Coaches don't like to see easy layups blown, and certainly Walker finishing with 2 hands there. The smart play now, 10 points, 5 of 6. And Northeastern has absolutely exploded here in the last 4 or 5 minutes to take the 15-point lead.
Well, when they were ahead, I turned to you and I said, I had a hunch somebody was going to get away from the other one. And at the time, it was Drexel. And now all of a sudden, these guys have really opened up. I mean, a 15-point lead.
28-6 run right now for the Huskies.
You know, I guess you come to the tournament and you better, you know, expect to be surprised by something. And this is a surprise at this point. Now, I do think Drexel has the ability to come back and make a game of this, but they've got to capitalize on free throws, which they just missed, and they've got to, you know, they got to score some points. I mean, they got 17 points. They're not going to have 20 if they don't make something happen here. 2 for 7 from the free throw line. That's you know, that's giving away a lot in a game that's at, you know, nip and tuck like this in terms of the style. Now here's where Northeastern frustrates you. You've all of a sudden you're down and they don't give it up easy into the shooting mode. Oh boy. I guess it was, but it would have been a and one, which would have dug a deeper hole. So move on from that. Right now, Drexel has an opportunity to try to tighten this thing down to if they can get close to 10 by half, you know, mail it in and run to the locker room. They were very fortunate. You know, if I were to watch that replay and I was you know, Bill Cohen, I might say, hey, wait a second, was that a travel or not? I think under the circumstances, we move on.
Rocket over his foot move, and that won't fall. With a lot of balls going in and out for Drexel right now, they cannot find the bottom of the net. Struggling shooting the basketball. Loser Flint. These Drexel Dragons, where they've been hit with injuries a lot this season, have gone cold. Just 2 of their last 17 from the floor.
Well, this is your worst nightmare as a coach. As you come into the game, you start well, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, we'll do this all day long, and all of a sudden you just absolutely hit the brakes, hit the skid, black ice, your car's spinning, and you just can't make any sense at anything. Ball's rolling away, you can't get a rebound. It's kind of really snowballing on them.
Drexel coming into this tournament playing some pretty good basketball down the stretch. With 5 of the last 8, the 3 losses by a total of 3 points. Nice drive and a finish by FOUCH.
Really nice. I mean, they just need to relax and make the plays they've been making all year, all their life. Because right now they're kind of fighting the game just a little bit. And the thing that Northeastern does, as we've alluded to, is they'll keep working your patience. They'll keep working your composure a little bit.
Atherton forcing the shot down low and misses.
Well, here they're setting up. Now, what they're trying to do is you've had their veteran guys right there.
Bassinet all the way to the basket, draws the foul.
You find that when you're watching and you're saying, what does Drexel need to have happen? As we look at the replay here, on this play, you're going, we need the end one. And you've got a veteran player that doesn't draw iron on the foul. Things are going good. You get the end one. Now, they haven't made a free throw. What's going to happen here?
The foul was on Reggie Spencer's third, so he'll check out. Checking into the game, Zach Stahl.
Well, of the post players, Atherton's the one you don't want to get in foul trouble. Reggie's a warrior kind of guy, so he'll have to kind of be a little bit careful getting that fourth start of the second half. But they get the 2 free throws down, as you say.
Bassinet knocks them both down, and it's a 12-point game. It's 33-21 Northeastern.
That's the first time in the game that Drexel's come down and scored back-to-back possessions in a long time.
Walker from 3. That is heavy. Here comes Drexel on the break.
Just a little greedy, They've got the double-digit lead, and the last 2 possessions haven't been what got them ahead. Now, it's given Drexel a glimpse of daylight here. As we said earlier, if they can get to 10 points, in that range, they're okay. This would be a big score.
FOUCH front iron, Atherton there with a rebound and a foul. We'll see who that's on.
That's tough stuff. I think it's on Bassinet.
It is on Bassinet.
That's tough stuff.
And Tovic wanted maybe to get that foul for his teammate. He was calling for it, but the referee wouldn't bite.
Yeah, what's a foul amongst friends? I mean, that happens. Sometimes guys run in, and if you have a real smart player, hey, that foul was on me, that foul was on me. You don't want it on Franz, but you're seeing the frustration of almost having a FOUCH score. Bassinet runs in trying to get the ball, but old flypaper, Scott Atherton, when he gets his mitts on it, it's over. Now, you can knock it loose, but he's going to get it first.
11 points and 11 rebounds here in the first half for Atherton. It's his 19th double-double of the season.
Well, you and I were talking about this double-double deal earlier, and all of a sudden double-double at halftime. That is a pretty significant performance, especially in a game that's not real high scoring. We're not looking at a 90-90 game.
A couple extra steps for Bassinet. Turnover, and Northeastern will take over here with 37 seconds left and a 14-point lead.
They will use the whole clock. I'll be surprised if they don't. Now, if they get a little anxious, a little excited, something could happen. But, they've got the right lineup out there to do something smart. Sometimes you get some freshmen out there at the end of the half. You don't know what's going to happen. But this is the right lineup. Bill's going to make sure that happens.
We'll call it with the timeout for Northeastern. And Stoll checked in for offense. 14-point lead for the Huskies. Now, use it or lose it timeout for Northeastern.
Well, as we stay here, what Bill's got going over there, and this is what you have to make sure is next. And, in a crazy world, you'd have somebody like Stahl that would get it put back at the buzzer.
4 great games this afternoon in Baltimore. Quarterfinal action. The next one coming up here. Towson and James Madison set to tip at 6 o'clock as part of the evening session here at the Baltimore Arena.
Well, it's some handicappers' headaches. That William and Mary game, you know, after that against College of Charleston, just in big margins of victory both ways for both teams. And as you say, Towson, they should draw quite a crowd here. But now we're coming down. 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Inside 10. Walker up top. Stahl. Kick to Williams, and the jump shot, no good. At the horn, good if it goes, and it's no good. And that'll take us to halftime. Northeastern with a 14-point lead as we head to the break. What a big first half for Bill Cohen. Better job on number 43.
Well, Brew is as fiery a guy as you'd ever want to be around. And I don't think he probably went into the locker room and with a bunch of hellfire and brimstone. I think he went in there and just said, guys, let's just play like we can. You know, they're just out of, he used the word tentative and playing nervous and with tension. And they got to shake out of that. The one thing that would have got some fire out of him is somebody compete with Etherton. Let's stoppage here. Well, I think everybody wants to have the clock working right. That sometimes is a key item in the game, I guess.
All right, checking the time here. We're going to get reset. 19:57. The shot clock at 32, and here we go again, a second time.
Yeah, let's go. Play it again, Sam.
It's a fairly older building here at the Baltimore Arena.
Really set up nice.
Washington Wizards played here earlier this year. Very nice event.
I was surprised when I walked in. I'd never been in here before, and it's really set up nice. And the arena has good sight lines, good seats. The court set up. The CAA came in here and in conjunction with the city of Baltimore and people that run the building, just really set up well. I was surprised. I don't know what I was expecting, but I walked in and went, whoa, this is a good setup.
Of course, a long history of this tournament being played in Richmond, Virginia for the first time here in Baltimore.
Well, there's a lot of tournaments that you have two choices. You play in historic places or brand new places. And I think to have a neutral court, this is what you end up with.
Etherton with a spinning move to the basket. A big fella. Very agile to the hoop and the basket.
You know, most of his touches have been away from the basket. That's a pet action that Drexel runs, and it's kind of a rub screen. And, you know, you've got a guy trying to do something right, and he ends up getting an offensive foul.
Talk about the flavor of Baltimore, Charm City. Billy Ripken in the house. Former Baltimore Orioles second baseman, brother of the Iron Man, Cal Ripken Jr.
Well, maybe as an Iron Man, will he sit here through every second of every game until Monday night? We'll see how Iron Man he is. Him and Ron Verdovich.
We need Billy to look up, put the phone down, watch a little basketball here in Baltimore.
You wonder at the start of the second half what could happen for Drexel, and what you have is Etherton gets loose and they get a foul, and they're really using Etherton to try to cause problems with the matchups, and that's not the shot they want, but that's the guy they want shooting it. Sometimes it works out.
FOUCH on the drive and gets the floater to fall. Just 2 for 7 in the first half, but his first shot falls here to start the second half, and that is a good sign for the Dragons.
Well, Bruiser said they need to get FOUCH going, and you know, maybe that's a start.
And knocked down. Jump shot by Demetrius Pollard, the junior, out of Virginia Beach, Virginia.
They have a perimeter that is sneaky. When you look at Walker, what you've seen him do, T.J. Williams, and then Pollard, you know, and then Flores, they all of a sudden make plays.
Largest lead of the game at 40-23 right now for Northeastern. And that foul is going to be called on Reggie Spencer, his fourth.
That's significant. You know, it's you know, you got a lead and you're in decent shape and you're going to play Scott anyway. Stahl has played really well in some. You see him at the scorer's table getting ready to check in. He's played steady minutes. He had the three-point play up and under on in the first half against Williams, and so you know it's a situation where they don't lose a lot of ground, but they lose a lot of athleticism and they lose a little bit of defense. His just presence in the post.
Bill Cohen wasting no time in getting Spencer out, bringing in Zach Stahl, the sophomore, back into the game.
Well, the last two trips, he got to the block. FOUCH hit the runner. They made both free throws, so they're a little bit looking up, and they can't look at the scoreboard. They just got to play. It's like Bruce said at halftime. They don't have a 14-point play.
15-point lead for Northeastern. Walker in trouble, out to Etherton. Back inside to Stahl. Right hand and kisses it off the glass. Nice finish for Stahl.
He's deceptive. He's really steady. He's got a real calm about him and knows his job. Picks his spots.
Fouch off balance for the right-hander.
Now, there are hard shots and easy shots. And that was a hard shot. Massanet comes up and makes it up. Oh, missed opportunity.
Off the turnover, and Massanet can't finish. Walker, nice crossover. In and out. Fouch may have gotten away with a foul, but not the second time.
Well, he didn't have a witness on the first one, but everybody saw the second one. Now, that's what they'll do, is they'll take a
second foul on Fouch.
On the replay, they will take their opportunities on the full court. He gets the ball up, but he stays in there. It rolls off. The Stahl battles. And, you know, he got away with the first one, and they nudged him out of there, but they grabbed his arm on the second one.
Started the charity stripe, knocks down the first 58% free throw shooter this season.
Well, they're not the greatest free throw shooting team by stats, but they have a lot of good shooters. And so sometimes you have one of those nights where you do make the free throws because you do have good shooters. But when you have a young team, sometimes they're a little bit inconsistent at the line.
Long three. Chris Fouch is feeling it.
7 all of a sudden. 7 sudden. And if Fouch were to have a second half where he gets 15, 20 points, then this thing could get real interesting. And neither of these teams have been real good with leads. Now, this is a pretty sizable lead, but neither of them's been real good with leads.
Back and forth, and Pollard answers.
I'll tell you what, that's what to do when the other team hits a three, is come down and turn sides and knock a three yourself. Moving the ball around here, and they are going to eventually search out those veterans. And Fouch never was in a position to score there. Massanet ends up getting a whistle, but they've kind of abandoned too much action in the post. And here's the foul, and he gets him on the drive and at the end, but it's not a foul on Etherton. And you're kind of the point where you don't have to worry about him in foul trouble, but you want him to play with reckless abandon.
It's T.J. Williams who got whistled on the foul. Drive by Fouch. That's going to be a turnover.
Tough stuff there. I mean, Bruce really hoping that they would have gave him the free throws or at least the ball. There's a couple of things that could have happened for him, and the one thing, no whistle, going the other way, that's the worst circumstance.
It's a quick whistle.
What?
Is that going to be a technical or coach's box warning? Referee pointed right at Coach Bill Cohen. As he stepped out of the coach's box, something I'm sure Coach Blaine Taylor, you never did in your time there.
No. Bruiser's boys are back. Some days they are, some days they aren't. Today they've really had a tough go. The senior guards survive and advance. The clock's growing short on their careers. You would have thought that they'd been able to do a little more, but there's still some clock.
Northeastern has led this game the last 15 minutes. Bill Cohen had just been asked to go back into the coach's box. Looked like he had a timeout sitting there on the sidelines, but he is back up. Northeastern with a 17-point lead. Bruiser Flint can't believe
they came out and had a pretty good trap there, Brent, and they're really good at handling on-ball screens, and they came up into a trap trying to cause something to happen, maybe knock the balls loose. But their aggressiveness, one of the ways they get backed off on their heels a little bit is with the whistle.
Coach Flint certainly not happy. Massanet picking up his third person.
No, that doesn't help their cause, and that's twice. And the whistles they're calling the bumps, and that weighs obviously in Northeastern's favor. And if I was Bill, I'd just stay stat down over there and let the good times roll.
Another quick one, and Darte Ruffin his third person. Little foul trouble mounting for Drexel.
Well, the thing I noticed is they're going to start getting in the one-on-one early. at the pace they're going.
5 team fouls right now for the Dragons.
You know, they could be, 9-10 minutes to go if things go at this pace.
Allen on the jumper and knocks it down.
Good sign. Somebody else getting going, and he's had games of 20, 25 points this year. When he gets going, he's just kind of like the ever-ready bunny when he gets going there. If all of a sudden something happens good for him.
They got Allen off the bench, averaging nearly 12 a game, 15th in the conference in scoring this season. Allen, Williams, and the big throw down with the right hand.
Well, if you're going to have something happen, all of a sudden you've got some guys that aren't Massanet, aren't FOUCH, make big plays, and you're seeing a little fire in their eyes right now.
Little energy back in the building for Drexel.
They'll try to wear them down with the action. They get the ball in tight.
Stahl finishes. Williams fell out, and then Stahl spun and had the easy lay-in.
Well, if Drexel, you needed to knock that ball loose and be on the run. For Northeastern, it squelches, a little bit of momentum that was starting to rise, and the crowd was starting to get into it. The Drexel students are just over there hungry for an opportunity. Now, that foul right there was, FOUCH trying to get off, and I believe it's Pollard that was, had a little bit of body contact, and so at the other end, they're calling the contact, and so they called it at the other end, so it is consistent.
Third for Demetrius Pollard.
Well, Pollard, he only had 2 points at halftime, Brent, but now he's got 8 with the 2 3-pointers, so, really, they're hitting on all cylinders when that kind of stuff happens.
TJ Williams out for Northeastern. Bodegas Flores back in. Here goes Massanet. His shot.
Boy, when it doesn't roll, does it? It's set.
Kick out and what a feed inside. Stahl finishes. Stahl 11 points now, but what a look by Bodegas Flores.
One end, Massanet's ball rolls out. The other end, wide open 3. He just hangs on and patiently finds and stripped, unguarded layup.
Long 3 by FOUCH, who is feeling it here in the second half. Huge basket.
You sense some anxiousness on the part of Drexel that guys really want to make some plays. They're trying to push up on defense. That's resulted in some whistles, but you've seen some nice plays on offense.
FOUCH in his 6th season. This last year, the broken ankle. Playing for his college career here this afternoon as he finds his Dragons down by 16.
This is textbook. You see how the ball is centered in the middle of the court? You don't have a help side defense, so it puts a guy on an island down low. And all of a sudden you've got Ruffin. This is a big play in the game. Ruffin catches his 4th foul, but the ball was centered for a high-low feed. And they really can't lay off of the shooters at the wing, so there's really no help. And so you've got as good a scorer as him that's driving a double forward, and all of a sudden you've got 4th foul and an and 1.
How impressed Coach are you with the footwork of Scott Etherton?
Well, he's very disciplined. He has very little wasted motion, and how he uses his hips, his shoulders, and how he uses his arms to his advantage. Took another charge, a whistle.
On the kick out, Allen on 3, no good. Battled inside. Williams gets it. The hoop and the foul. Rodney Williams, the freshman, with a nice finish at the basket.
This is a rare circumstance you're going to see on this replay because you've got Goran Panovic, and all of a sudden you've got him come down with the ball instead of Etherton, and then it turns into an and 1. So as you look at it again here, look at the ball go up. And he comes down with it. Now, Etherton has hands on it, and you rarely see him with the double mitt on the ball and not come up with it. And that was just sheer determination.
Nice vision for the senior, Petrovic. 6'10", 225 pounds with a nice assist under the basket.
He's got the makings of battling. He's just got to be smart about it because Etherton is so smooth and cagey with what he does.
Lead cut to 13 at 53-40. And a turnover for Northeastern. Here comes Drexel. Massanet. Looking for the kick out. Is knocked out of bounds by David Walker.
That's what they
defensive
needed.
team, David Walker.
That's what they needed on the one end, but at the other end, FOUCH was stepping in for 3, and he's been hotter than a firecracker, and they missed him.
FOUCH coming off the screen, has the basketball now on the wing. Over to Allen. inside and left hand, in and out. Tovich is there for the rebound. Around to FOUCH, who knocks down the three from straight away.
Tovich has made a big impact on the game because it's now allowing the other guys to get it going.
FOUCH has cut it to 10.
Plays as a result of others also. But the stretch run, the second key that we talked about, they were up 17 when we were talking about that. Now it's 10. Now, if all of a sudden they can get to 6-5 at the 6-5 mark, that's what to look for. If you're a Drexel fan, if you're a Northeastern fan, you're hoping they can run clock, handle pressure, which you see setting up right now. Drexel's going to press, and if they can get it from here to the front end, run their time and get a score, then the clock keeps ticking on Drexel.
FOUCH, one of the best to shoot the three in Drexel history. Fourth all-time, 274 three-pointers.
He can do that. They just got to do this. Right now, they've just, every time Northeastern's needed to play, they've had it.
Etherton backs it down, but Tovich is there for the block. And here comes Drexel with the basketball. Massanet out front. And they reset down 10, 53-43, 11, 32 left here in the second half.
I find myself watching FOUCH right now. Oh, boy.
Offensive foul on Drexel's number 3,
Chris FOUCH picks up the offensive foul. Drexel claws their way back in. It's a 10-point game.
How that happened is you're seeing the rebound margin start to tighten down. You're seeing the defense creating some stuff. They've now knocked some threes. Both teams have 4 3-pointers, so there's more even Steven stuff going on in the game. They've gained 7 points, like you say, with that 9-point run. But, now they just, every little play that could go their way, they kind of need. And, Northeastern needs to stem that tide.
Drexel gets the turnover.
Well,
looking to cut it to single digits. Massanet on the drive. The feed, it's knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Stahl. So Drexel.
That was almost a layup. So they caused a turnover. I think what happens is Northeastern is hoping the whistle blows. They've had 2 consecutive plays out of 3 plays where they didn't get the whistle. They got the illegal backstream, but they ain't getting that call all night long. They're going to have to earn passes, earn catches, earn dribbles, earn shots, because they're going to have Drexel scrapping at it.
Massanet's floater, front rim. Allen goes for the steal. As I stepped on the end line, so Northeastern.
Well, as I said, Drexel's going to start fighting them for every catch. They're going to start slapping at balls when they can. I mean, they don't have any choice, and so it's what their game plan probably was to start with. But now you're going to see it ramp up. And what you can't do if you're Northeastern is start just hoping that the whistle blows. And that's what happened right there again. They've got to fight through that stuff if they want to maintain their lead.
Allen from 3, in and out. Tovich, and so Northeastern will get the basketball.
He's been a warrior. He's very, very physical, and he's strong. And, Scott is just smooth enough that he's going to get the benefit of the doubt, because when he pushes with his forearm, Scott goes with it, and it looks like he pushed him harder.
T.J. Williams in for Northeastern. Vegas Flores out on the break. Stahl all the way to the basket, gets the foul.
What I find interesting about that is they've had some kind of mystery passes, kind of hoping for whistles. Now they throw ahead to their 4-man. And their 4 and their 5-man perform a 2-on-1, which sometimes post players aren't as accomplished at. That's where Stahl is so steady and versatile. He kind of plays away from the basket, guards a bunch of different guys, gets a few boards. And if they don't look out, because of Reggie Spencer's foul trouble, Stahl's going to be a guy that has double digits in this game, which is going to be a bonus.
Stahl now 4 for 5 from the foul line this afternoon and 12 points. And the sophomore out of Minnesota. 9 points this half. Misses the second.
They've got the back and pick action with FOUCH coming off. Now they've got a chance to kind of manufacture something. They just need to get a good look and not big whistle.
Allen with a miss. And an offensive rebound for Drexel. Williams, nice move as he backed out into the blocks.
He's very capable of the block, and they're not post-doubling, so those guys have a chance to make moves because they're not going to run off the FOUCH or Massanet. They're too good as shooters.
Kick ball there. Walker was looking inside. And Tovich now with 4 fouls.
Well, what you see with Northeastern is a little bit of tentativeness. You see on the full court pressure, they're not sure. They're getting trapped because they pause for a second. They come down 2-on-1, kind of take it. That bounce pass, and now here's a really nice inline OB. They did a nice job of curling. They didn't have anything, and they create a layup.
David Walker with a nice cut to the basket. 12 points now for the sophomore.
Nothing tentative about that. When you find a layup on the first pass inbounds, you don't have to worry about how long it takes.
Fouch with a head fake and then gets the dribble drive and the basket to fall. Fouch having a huge half now with 17 points in the game.
Well, he's doing all he can do, and this thing, the stretch run was one of the keys, and we're coming towards the stretch run. And as we said, it's 9 right now. I said at the 6-5 mark, can they get to 6-5 points? And they're on that path right now.
Atherton spins. He's looking for the reverse lay-in and the foul, and that's going to go on Tovich, and that is his 5th.
Well, he's come in and been a warrior, but he's earned his 5 fouls. He's got his pound of flesh out of the action. You know, the move that Scott made, he really baited him into this foul. He got the ball, spun on him, and really baited the whistle. You know, it was hard not to call it. And that's just an experienced post player against a guy who's coming in. So as we look at the replay, you know, when you have this 5th foul, most of the coaches use it as a pseudo timeout. He spins on him, he's body tight, he falls off balance. Really, Gorin didn't do a lot there, but that's the experience of knowing he had contact and flushing and flopping out of bounds just a little bit. And it's just, you know, good players know how to do that. They get an angle and they cause contact and they bait the whistle.
Tovich finished with 7 rebounds, had that very nice assist as well as he fouls out. No shots this afternoon for the senior.
Well, the free throw line comes into play, and I think by and large, Stahl missed his 2nd one, but you're going to start seeing now that we're in the double bonus on the next foul. We've got 9 right now, so no matter what happens, they're shooting 2 at a time the rest of the game for 9.5 minutes, which is an eternity in a game.
Atherton 5 of 8 from the foul line this afternoon. For the Huskies, just 63% as a team from the charity stripe. Dead last here in the conference this season. So down the stretch, foul shooting certainly could be a factor.
No question. You know, the key for Northeastern, you know, to go down the stretch, and then as you point out, not a great free throw shooting team. So they've had some turnovers lately, and they've had some free throws.
On the follow, Bob. Giving the ball, Mohamed Bob inside.
Closest they've got is 8 now, is that right?
Single digits at 57-49.
Just gradually creeping. And, you know, you've got, what's happened is Fouch. Some other guys have had to do it because Williams has really been tight on Fouch. He has not got any easy looks other than on the drive.
Williams inside Atherton. Right hand on the hook shot.
They've gone to the well. You look at them going to Atherton. He doesn't have foul trouble. He's going to probably have to play the stretch. Maybe one quick. He's got 18 and 14 now. 18 points and 14 rebounds.
Rebound there by Vegas Flores.
I think that was a big sequence. A stop, score gets to 6. A score, stop, and now they're looking at maybe going up 12. Really big sequence because the momentum was kind of shifting gradually away from them. It was just kind of a small earthquake coming at him.
Williams all the way to the basket for an easy layup. And a quick timeout on the floor. Bruiser Flint all the way out to midcourt to call that time.
Well, Bruiser felt what we were talking about. He's sitting there going, let's get a stop, score, and here they widened out their lead, and then they're holding on to their lead. 10 for 15 from the floor in this half, 67%. So when they haven't turned it over, they have been very, very efficient when they've shot the ball.
On the game, Northeastern shooting 50%. Drexel have been so good defensively of late, holding their last 8 opponents to 40% or less. But today, Northeastern getting it done. 61-49 is the lead for the Huskies.
Just sturdy and steady and really added to Atherton.
Points in the paint of plus 14 for Northeastern. 12-point lead. Well, FOUCH will go to the line.
At the top of the game, we were pointing out that they'd shot a lot of threes, Brent, and we said they really got to search out some twos. And now, as you point out, those points in the paint have really started to stack up. And a lot of that is the anxiousness of Drexel to try and make something happen, and they're giving up those points in the paint.
FOUCH second in conference. Free throw shooter at 84%.
Early in the game, he missed two, if you recall, and then he misses one there. And it's just how they haven't, they're not hitting on the cylinders they need to be more productive in this game. And it's still just there's a lot of time left in this game. And every time you see a play, you think that might be the one that makes the difference. But there's a lot going on.
Oh, it's a foul inside on Stahl. There's FOUCH. Did the foul in?
Well, remember the back screen that he got the foul on. He took the cutter on and went to the ground. So you got to remember these things kind of even out. Sometimes you forget that. Now, the rebounds have gotten about down to 7, and I think Goran, when he came in, and really made a difference on the glass. But now they still have Ruffin over there with 4, I believe. And so they've got a chance to make a difference in the paint because they're losing the battle there as much as anything.
See how long Bill Cohen waits to bring back his big forward and Ruffin. Here comes Walker. Fast break. Oh. Count the bucket and the foul.
Now you look at the reaction by Bill Cohen. He knows how big a play that was. You're getting to a single-digit game. They got a chance to cut it to single digits, and all of a sudden you come down and get a three-point play. And this could have been a call either way, and the ball goes in. So you've got the trifecta. You've got the missed shot, the loose ball rebound, and all of a sudden you get the breakaway and one. But it started with their defense. Remember that.
15 points now for Walker Massanet. 4 fouls. He's going to have to be careful the final 7 minutes of this ball game.
Well, the foul trouble has hurt them, and not that they've been without these guys a bunch, but they just, it's helped the other team with the fouls and taken away some rhythm of them. FOUCH.
Whistle on that shot.
He got a little bit of a break there, but I do think he got hit on the arm, Brent.
Shooting 2 is inside the three-point line, and the foul is going to go.
Here's where they're playing him tighter, as we pointed out with the highlight. They played him tighter, and it was a little bit of a ticky-tack, but, one of the things that everybody in the whole facility can see is that elbow when you go shoot. And if you just put a fingerprint on there, they're going to call it.
This is another foul line, 84% this season. And just 1 for 5.
That's symptomatic of a team that's struggling, is when their best free throw shooter is a little off center. It means the whole team's just a little off center in a lot of different respects. But I think you got to give Northeastern some credit. They've done a lot of good things in this game. You look at the play of Walker, and you look at the play of Stahl. You look at what Etherson's done. It hasn't been just a one-man band, but boy, that one man's made a difference.
Quick ball movement for the Huskies. And then back out to Walker. They'll settle it down inside 20 on the shot clock.
I think Bill Cohen was over there going, no. And it must have heard him mumbling, because that's what they wanted.
Great cut. Stahl finishes at Williams with a vision.
Picture perfect for Northeastern. If you're there, if you're a fan of them, they turned it down. They end up running their throwaway motion and getting a layup.
The lead back to 15, 66-51.
That sequence we showed a minute ago of the defensive stop, the loose ball, and the end one. That was a really big sequence as we go to this stretch run. Which was one of the keys of the game, was that stretch run, how Northeastern would handle it. And they've stretched that 8 with the threat of going to 6, that 10-9 with the threat of it getting tighter to 15. So they're handling it, but I just think you're not going to see Drexel go without a flurry of something.
It's interesting that Northeastern, in their win against Drexel, shot only 29% of that game. In this game, shooting over 52%.
Well, that's why you have the margin. And if you look at defense, okay, you look at what they've... Now, Drexel has missed some shots, but you got to give the defense credit. If everything's equal, you got to give defense credit. And then the rebounding is part of defense. We only give people one shot. And then, as you say, they've been very efficient on offense. When they haven't turned it, they've scored it.
Big foul in the backcourt.
What he did good there is they had been stopping in traps. They had been leaning into some of the contact, hoping for fouls, and he just merely just kept moving with the ball under control, and eventually got some contact and got the whistle. That's better guard play, better decision making with the ball, better ball security.
Rodney Williams, his 4th foul for Drexel.
Well, the free throws, I mean, they're shooting better from the line than Chris FOUCH, and that's an anomaly. As we said, they had the 9 fouls. Now that's the 10th, so the rest of the way, it's 2 at a time.
Yeah, very interesting. Drexel, the best free throw shooting team in the CAA. Northeastern, the worst free throw shooting in the CAA. That has completely been flip-flopped this afternoon.
They turned the tables on that, didn't they?
FOUCH from 3, no good. Stahl is there with the rebound.
Now, T.J. Williams has done a nice job. He's been switching back and forth between FOUCH and Massanet. You see those guys have been slowing down a little bit. Now, then, you've got Marco Venegas Flores has come in, and those 2 guys have been able to tighten down on a little bit.
15-point lead for Northeastern. 5:30 left here in the second half.
Yeah, that's that high-low they looked at before, but they're getting to the 10 seconds, so time to make a play.
To Walker, 5 on the shot clock. Behind the back dribble, forces it and hits it. When it's falling, everything you throw up is good. 70-53.
Sounds like a Tim McGraw song, Unanswered Prayers.
They used every last second of the shot clock on that last possession. And they got the basket inside 5 minutes. It's a 17-point lead for the Huskies.
Well, when things are going right, they go right. When things go wrong, they go wrong. This has really been a rollerball game where things have gone wrong for one team and right for the other. And really not picking on one team. I think you need to give credit to the other team. I think Northeastern's done a lot of good stuff. That ball was tipped. 10 seconds again. What's he got now in his bag of tricks?
Walker's going to kick it out to Stahl for 3, back iron. But Ruffin brings down the rebound. The big fella Ruffin with 4 back in the game. FOUCH is going to find Ruffin, who teardrops it home. 70-55.
The good news is they got a traditional shot last time using the whole clock. So they've used 2 whole clocks, scored 1 out of the 2, but their defense was somewhat set. But they are trying to avoid fouls. They're trying to not just give them quick scores. When the whistle blows and it stops the action, that's a problem.
Atherton all the way to the rim, who drops it home.
Well, he's working on a what do you call it when you're 20-20? I mean, you got double-double. He was at 18, and he's probably at 20 and 15 right now.
20 points and 15 rebounds for the redshirt junior.
Well, I'm not sure he's going to get the 20 rebounds, but if he stays in there, he'll have a chance.
Northeastern gets the ball on the out of bounds, and they have a big lead at 17. Atherton with 20.
You've got Zach Stahl with 14 and 9, so you've got another double-double on the way out of the front line, and part of that's because of Spencer's foul trouble. Now Atherton's out of the game, so we might see as much of him as we might need to give him a little rest. He might have to play 3 days in a row, and he's played a lot of minutes considering he hasn't been in foul trouble and whatnot. Now that's
it. Steal and layup. 72-57, 15-point lead. Quick steal and another quick layup. This one by FOUCH. And now it's a 13-point lead. And a quick timeout. Stahl calls the timeout. Bill Cohen didn't want one. He's wondering why his player called the timeout on the baseline. But nonetheless, Northeastern with it. That's how things finished in Richmond, Virginia. Northeastern trying to get back to that championship game right now, the 13-point lead.
Well, that changed quickly. Now, here's a quick whistle, but you saw a player get airborne and try to throw the ball. You saw a player in a trap kind of flop, hoping the whistle blew, and all of a sudden you've got 4 points just like that, and that's what Drexel wants to have happen. Now, with the timeout, Bill really separated the people from the baseline, gave a lot more room to open the court up, and as Walker cut, it was very visible to the officials because it wasn't as frenetic and as crowded for them to figure that out.
Last year, Bill Cohen's team, 14-4 in the CAA, won the regular season title, went to the championship game, and it was James Madison who would knock off the Huskies and punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament.
Atherton back in the game. Bill's not taking it. Is that Stahl? No, that's
Stahl's
That's Stahl, I'm sorry, yeah. So he gets his double-double. That rebound for Stahl, that gives him his double-double. So 2 double-doubles. Left Scott out. He's not going to do that much difference in terms of the press breaker and the ball handling, which is what they need right now.
Vegas Flores with the ball over to Stahl.
Just running some time.
Going to run some clock. Reggie Spencer. Williams.
Still a lot of clock.
There's your scorer on the floor right now. Walker, the ball is blocked and out of bounds. Good defensive play there by Tavon Allen, who knocked the ball loose out of Walker's hands, and Drexel will take over on the turnover.
That's a tough no call, but you better bounce off of it late game. You can't have the no calls and the turnovers affect you too much. You got to lead, and you better prize it.
Swinging momentum here in the last minute.
Well, they're not letting Fouch get a touch, and they're trying to make Tavon make those plays. And
Ruffin gets the basket and the foul. Ruffin will go to the foul line, a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play.
Here comes Etherton. I didn't think he was going to be able to finish the game on the bench. Just when things aren't going right, you need your glue guy out there, and he does a lot of different things. I don't think that play would have happened right there had Scott been in the game, and he has fouls to give, too. He can be very, very aggressive.
4th foul on Stahl. Etherton has yet to pick up a personal foul. 20 points, 15 rebounds for Scott Etherton.
Well, with as much time left, he's going to have a chance to board the ball, foul somebody, protect the basket, get fouled himself.
Full court press here by Drexel, down 11. Williams gets it across midcourt and then gets fouled by Major Kennedy, the freshman.
He didn't have to go score that, but he needed to push it down the floor. He needed to be aggressive. If they were going to go after the ball, he's going to get the whistle more by being aggressive than tentative. And then if you get near the basket and don't have the finish, then you can back it out and run a little bit of time. But they're used to running time. They're not used to attacking relentlessly. And so they're in a little bit of is one of our keys. You know, they needed to do all the physical things, fighting them, but then they needed to be able to finish the job. And you saw how vulnerable they are with the back-to-back turnovers. You see in the full court, they're a little bit uncertain as to what to do, but they are making free throws. And I think it helps as early as they got into the 2-shot. I mean, it's not like this is the first free throws of the game. They've had a little bit of practice there getting to the line.
T.J. Williams misses the second.
Yeah, I sure did. Tough roll there. That's you know, everybody in America knows that when the analyst says they've been shooting free throws, they're going to miss. So
Fouch from the corner, 28 points now.
It's tough when they pay you to talk. I have right now. Something can happen. I mean, if they could be at the 2-minute mark within 4 or 5 or 2 possessions, that would make it really interesting.
How much of a factor could the foul trouble that Drexel has at the moment, when you talk about maybe the last minute or two, if they're forced to foul, how that could have an effect on this game?
Well, it depends on the flow of the game. They got the ball back. Wow.
Big turnover.
Now, look at the scorers table. All of a sudden, we've got Ruffin and Massanet. So, really good point, Brent. He's going to have to do some substitutions to protect the foul. But as the flow of the game goes, sometimes he's not going to be able to get them out of there. That time was picture perfect. They get the ball, they put them back in. What's going to happen on a score now? And they maybe need to foul or be aggressive.
Both Ruffin and Massanet with 4 fouls. So, Bruiser Flink going offense for defense and bringing both of his starters back in.
Now remember, the last 2 times these guys played, Drexel was ahead by 7 with 40 seconds to go and lost by 2. 9-point difference in 40 seconds. So, you know, if somebody's, you know, heading to the grocery store thinking this baby's over, they might come home with a bag full of groceries and a surprise.
Northeastern scored the final 7 points of that game. As the two teams closing out the regular season, the final score is 54-52. But what a run that Northeastern made in the final minute.
Well, which would be turning the tables on them if Drexel can do it to them. I mean, turnabout's fair play. Here comes Fouch.
Fouch from the corner. Well, that's a tough three-pointer falling away. No good. And Northeastern comes down with a rebound. And Walker looking to get out of trouble. Stahl. The ball hits out of bounds, but it was off Ruffin.
Walker did the worst thing you can do. He grabs the ball, holds it, and puts it down low, and all of a sudden the two players converge, and now you've got trap after trap after trap. Now, Massanet and Ruffin are out. They're on defense.
Bob and Wilson both check in.
That was not a foul. That was a ball out of bounds. So now he's got his foul, steal it, whatever, ripcord team in there because it's a free fall.
9-point lead here.
They're going to trap. Here comes the subs.
Kennedy with the foul. Bruiser Flint's going to make the substitution. Both Ruffin and Massanet set the check in. Etherton's going to go to the foul line.
Yeah, Etherton has nice touch. And so, a guy that's having the kind of game he is, now I don't want to jinx him like I did the last one, but the kind of is having the kind of game he's having, you want to go to the line. I mean, that guy is in a comfort zone beyond what younger players are or players that are having an okay game.
6 and 9 on the afternoon from the charity stripe for Etherton.
I actually think their guards are getting just a little bit skittish because they're here and they feel like they have a win and they don't want to give it away. And they keep doing stuff that just kind of keeps Drexel's pulse alive.
10-point lead. Massanet.
He's uptight. He ain't going to give him that
Foul
three.
The drive. It's that to fall back to 8. Full court pressure by Drexel. Across midcourt, Stahl, and Stahl is fouled by FOUCH, and FOUCH is holding his right hand.
I'll tell you, that was a we talked about the number one key. Bang him, bump him, beat him to balls. Stahl beat him to the ball. Now, you've got Chris down there. I don't know. I didn't see the collision well enough. It looks like he got a knee in the kidney or something.
Right in his chest. FOUCH is going to be called for the foul as well as fourth, and you see Stahl go up and knee right into the stomach area.
There's a lot of organs in there. He could be done. He could, have a little more left in the tank. It depends how much time goes off. Now, the timeouts, Northeastern has only one. They burned one on the end line, so it'll be interesting against the press that they only have one left. Now, Drexel has two, and so Brew can stop the action, and he can get FOUCH in when he wants.
Stahl from the line knocks down both. For Northeastern, 22 of 32 this afternoon from the charity stripe.
Not great, but productive. It's not one of those deals where you point at it and go, man, that's the reason they're getting back in the game.
10-point lead off the miss and the rebound by Stahl.
He's Johnny on the spot, man.
FOUCH still on the bench, still holding his midsection, and so far, Bruiser Flint has not looked down the bench to get his star player back into the ballgame.
I don't think Brew's in any situation with a kid that's in year 6 that's had some health issues that got hit that hard, and he's all of a sudden going to press the issue, when you've got a 10-point game. So, Stahl, didn't dare say anything and jinx him, but Stahl has just been, if you just closed your eyes and said there's a play that needs to be made in a timely fashion, he'd be standing there.
Double-double for Stahl, 17 points, 11 rebounds. He had a double-double earlier this year against Drexel as well. In the corner, Wilson, and hits the three. Quick timeout, final timeout for Drexel at 78-70 with 1:36 left.
Well, we're getting down to the end of those timeouts. I'm not sure how many they have. They may have one.
Might be one afternoon for Freddie Wilson, the transfer out of Seton Hall.
They're starting to get to the point where they can't let the other team run time. These traps, they've got to either get a hand on a ball on the inbounds, they've got to get a trap and a deflection, they've got to come up with a run and steal. They just can't let the ball come in like that and all of a sudden have the whistle blow like that. Now, the thing that I suggested earlier was Walker got the ball, held it, and put it down low when the trap closed on him. In that circumstance, he grabbed the ball and took off. And all of a sudden, he's got a little bit of momentum, so TJ all of a sudden draws the foul because he's the aggressor into an aggressive defensive play and gets the benefit of the doubt.
Bruiser Flint not happy about the call. Didn't feel it was a foul. TJ Williams will go to the line for the Huskies.
Well, you're at 8, and I think it might have been the 5th foul on, is that Kennedy that got the 5th?
He's out.
Okay, so Bruiser's taking a mini timeout here. But, if that is called a step out of bounds, you've got a 3-pointer to get it to a 5-point game. That changes the complexion of the game in a huge way.
FOUCH is going to come back into the ball game along with Ruffin.
Well, as we thought, 30 or 40 seconds later, as the clock ticks, which is, you know, as the crow flies on the clock, you know, it's a lot longer. So, you know, he had 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes there, and he's regrouped. And you can see he's probably got some tender ribs. But, yeah, I'll bet you he shoots the ball pretty nice if he gets a chance.
Still holding his midsection as TJ Williams knocks down the first. Double bonus now for both teams.
Well, if you look at them statistically, they're shooting at about, you know, 2 out of 3, 66% in there. So that means that, you know, one guy's making 1 out of 2 and the other guy's getting 2 out of 2, and that's enough. That's enough. Right on par. Getting 2 out of 3, getting 3 out of 4, that kind of stuff.
Williams knocks them both down. Massadet now. 10-point game, 80-70. Massadet finishes. Cuts it back to 8. 1:25 left.
That's too easy.
Got the trap in the corner. They're going to call a foul. We'll see if this is on Ruffin, because that would be his 5th.
That's too easy. A layup last time, but they don't want to stop the clock. You know, what Bill is saying is don't foul, don't foul, don't foul. So Massanet gets a head of steam up, and they give him a layup. And if you stop him, you don't have to handle the press breaker. But they got the ball right back to Williams, who just hit the 2 free throws. Smart move there.
Darte Ruffin, the senior, fouls out of the ball game. 5 points, 2 of 3 shooting this afternoon, and 3 rebounds.
I never would have thought this would have been as high a scoring game, but what happens is a fairly conservative game has 2 things that happen to it. One team gets a large lead, so then the play, you know, one team has to try to keep scoring because the other team's pressuring, but they get to the free throw line a bunch, and then the other team's playing from behind, so they're playing a little bit faster. So the character of the game, the flow of the game, ends up to where the scoreboard, you know, starts looking like a Las Vegas slot machine and starts going ding, ding, ding a little bit more.
Williams, 7 of 8 from the foul line, 9 points now in this ball game.
This appears as if they can hang on here.
Tavon Allen.
Nice move.
Finishes.
A lot of guys flooding the baseline.
To an 8-point game. With the defense double team out in front. And Williams is out there. Misses the layup, but Stahl is there for the putback.
Guess who? If I close my eyes, that's who I'd have said.
What a
Zach
game.
is back.
Zach Stahl, a double-double.
Wilson hits another one from the corner, and so he's been able to do that. Clock stops, so there's no sense for a timeout. You got to get into the pressure.
7-point lead, but again, breaking the pressure Northeastern.
I really think he made a good choice there. He could have taken the 2-on-1, but you just don't need to have things happen faster. You'll take layups. You're always going to look for layups. But at that point, you know, you're fouling them out, and the Bruiser's all the way out of the court. He's got the 5th foul, I think.
It is, so he'll get a mini timeout here.
I was going to say, if Bill Cohen got a warning for being out of the box, Bruiser all the way out to the mid, he's ready to jump center. But
well, it's a 5th foul on Chris Fouch, the 6-year grad student. What a career for Chris Fouch. Out of the Bronx, New York. One of the greatest players in Drexel history.
He's seen a lot. You know, a couple years ago they had that great season. You know, he was able to be a part of the program when that happened. They won the regular season title. Northeastern won the regular season title last year. So you're looking at the last 2 regular season champions. And then you've got, you know, Delaware, who you just watched last game, was the last regular season champion. So, you know, the league has grown to where more schools are getting more accolades, more postseason opportunities, more championships, and that's a good thing. There's coaches being rewarded and kids being rewarded.
You can see the emotion when a career comes to a close. And certainly on the face of Chris Fouch, who finishes today his final collegiate game, 30 points.
Well, as we honor Fouch having his career and the nice words that you're sharing about him, they're all well-deserved. But there on the free throw line, we had the old okey doke. You know, he shows the shot, doesn't shoot it. Every guy in the lane falls over, and they blow the whistle. And it's illegal to, you know, bait everybody into the lane. He didn't do it on purpose, but it happened.
Drexel looking to get a quick score. Massadet all the way to the basket and finishes 85-79. It's a 6-point game.
They had a
foul. Tavon Allen is going to foul Williams. So TJ Williams is going to go to the foul line.
they had about 3 guys in front of Massanet, but none of them dare stand in front of him. So, you know, when the push comes to shove, he's getting all the way to the basket. And as long as they're making the free throws and not turning it over, it's you know, not too big a problem. But, you know, it's still, you know, it still keeps getting tightened down. We're going to end up at 100.
Second foul for Allen. Massanet with 4 fouls.
I don't know if we can track it back. I think they made about the last 7 free throws in a row. If I want, as I say that, Bill's probably knocking on wood over there.
TJ Williams 8 for 9. And now 9 for 10 on the afternoon for the foul.
I know from playing the guard position, sometimes you don't get to shoot as many free throws during the game. You don't get to shoot as many during the game, but when it comes this time, you kind of start licking your chops. Like, you know, I might get the chance to score a few points. I mean, everybody keeps talking about Scott and this and that and everything, and Etherton does this, and all of a sudden, he comes marching in
his
there.
Right arm there with a push-off, but they'll call Walker on the foul.
Well, that's where the kids have been getting out of the way. I've said it 2 or 3 times. You and I have talked about it. They're getting out of the way. They don't get out of the way, and then they get the foul call. So, you know, you just don't know what to do. Can't evaporate. And you can't just give it to him, and you stand in there. So, you know, really what I think they keep picking him up too far up the floor. I'd get about 3 guys abreast at the 25 feet and see how that works.
Massanet makes both. It's back to a 6-point game. 32 seconds left.
You know, as everybody starts getting comfortable at this, and the guys are fouling out, and we're talking about guys' career ending, and we're talking about Northeastern doing all these things. This is a big possession right here, getting it in.
Oh, a little shove at the end of that play.
Bruiser said something to him. You know, he's a good kid that hasn't got to play a lot. So Lerner's just, you know, pretty exuberant about getting into the tournament and having a chance to do something. But don't want anything crazy to happen now.
Jake Lerner, who checks in. Etherton knocks down the foul shot.
At the top of the show, we talked about one of the advantages Drexel had was shooting free throws, and down the stretch, that would come into play. Right now, down the stretch, Northeastern's done a nice job at the line, and they've had to because Drexel just keeps getting deuces over and over and over.
Northeastern has gone to the foul line 42 times this afternoon. They've knocked down 31 of those.
That's like the first time they've stopped him. About 6 times in a row. And so now all of a sudden you're going to see a chance for this thing to widen out and comfortable. Now, you know, as we look ahead at what could happen for the winner here, as the brackets, you know, you're always looking at what happened the first times. And one of the good things about this league is there is a double round robin. So you've got a historical precedent where both teams have played each other twice. And as we've said, they got a true champion, true standings, true seedings, and all that stuff. But now it's so hard to beat a team a third time. And Northeastern had a 4-point game with Delaware first time around. Second time, Delaware was at home, spread it out a little bit. But now neutral court, third time, semis. You know, it'll be interesting tomorrow if that's the way it unfolds here at the end of these last 16 seconds.
So it'll be Northeastern, the 5 seed, and the number 1 seed, the Delaware Blue Hens. Semifinal, 2:30.
I think you can't
Sunday afternoon here in Baltimore.
Yeah, I think you can't discount the fact that Northeastern advanced to the championship game last year. I think that paid off a little bit for them. These kids were around to run through the tournament, and so I think that had a difference. You know, there's only going to be one team that's not going to walk out of here feeling like Drexel right now. This tournament, you know,